जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तिरवनचारी। यमुना तिरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय गौरनिताय जय जय गौरनिताय। जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा। जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, and all glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, dear Amarendra Prabhu. After so long time, you are joining on our channel. So, Prabhu doesn't need our introduction. It is Grace Amarendra Prabhu is senior disciple of His Holiness Radha Goswami Maharaj, widely preaching all over the world. So we are very fortunate to hear from him. Hopefully, we like to see him here in person later in New Jersey this year. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prasharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So this is a very beautiful verse from Granth Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 9, Chapter 10, Text 2. Tasyapi Bhagavan Esha Sakshat Brahmamayo Harihi Amshamshena Chaturdhagat Putratvam Prarthita Surai Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugna Iti Samyaga. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth Himself, directly appeared with His expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharata and Shatrugna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in 4 forms as the sons of Maharaj Dasharatha. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Lord Ramachandra and his brothers, Lakshman, Bharata and Shatrugna, are all Vishnu Tattva and not Jiva Tattva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into many, many forms, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Although they are all one and the same, Vishnu Tattva has many forms and incarnations. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 539, Ram Adi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. So here the word Ram Adi means Ram, etc. Can mean Ram and other incarnations, or it can also mean Ram and his brothers Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna. Murtishu in these forms, Kal Niyamena Tishtan. These forms may exist in any part of His creation. All these forms exist permanently, eternally as individual personalities of Godhead, and they resemble many candles, all equally powerful. Lord Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna, who being Vishnu Tattva are all equally powerful, they became the sons of Maharaj Dasharatha in response to the prayers by the demigods. So Hare Krishna everyone. It's my honor and privilege to be back here in this, although this is Zoom, but I consider this to be the temple hall of Radha Shyam Sundar. That which is absolute has no difference. So devotees are Radha Shyam Sundar devotees in the congregation of ISKCON of Central New Jersey. So this is not a Zoom room. We have zoomed in to the temple room. So that's the Zoom room. And thank you, dear Krishna Namananda Prabhu and dear Madhupati Prabhu and all devotees in the management for kindly inviting me very lovingly on the occasion of Sri Ram Navami to speak some Katha on the glories of Sri Ramachandra. As we understand, Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmiki Muni Simhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shunvan Rama Kathanadam Konuyantim Paramgatim. As we understand, Valmiki Muni, who composed the Adhikrit Ramayana, the Valmiki Ramayana, he is compared to a cuckoo bird, Kujantam, Rama Rama Iti. He is constantly cooing the name of Sri Ramachandra. And what is he doing? Madhuram Madhuraksharam. These beautiful sweet syllables of Ram Nam, he is cooing in the sweetness of a cuckoo bird. You can see throughout Adau Antecha Madhyecha Hari Sarvatra Giyate. Throughout the beginning, middle and end of Shastra, whether it is the Ramayana, whether it is the Vedas, whether it is the Srimad Bhagavatam, only the glories of the Supreme Lord is given. So the name of Sri Ram as Ram, Raghava, Kukutstha, Raghavendra, Dasharati. In this way, so many names of Sri Ramachandra are found throughout Valmiki Ramayana. Almost every second verse you can see the word Ram or Raghava appearing. So because Valmiki Muni is so sweetly singing these beautiful syllables, therefore he is compared to a cuckoo bird. But as we know, cuckoo birds always sit on the branch of the trees. So what branch is Valmiki Muni sitting on? Aruhya Kavita Shakham. Kavitam Shakham. He is sitting on the branch of poetry because he has composed the Valmiki Ramayana so poetically throughout in Anushtup Chanda, except for the last verse in every sarga. You can see that was either in Indra Vajra, Rupendra Vajra Chanda, but throughout it is composed in Anushtup Chanda, the typical meter in which Bhagavad Gita is composed. Vande Valmiki Kokilam. So I bow down to this cuckoo bird sitting on the branch of poetry, having realized the conclusion of the tree, the wisdom tree, the desire tree of the Vedas. He has completely eaten the fruit of studying the Vedas as a cuckoo bird sitting on the topmost branch of the branch of poetry and ornamentation. He's sitting and cooing very melodiously and sweetly the two syllables Rama, Rama, Rama. But at the same time, the next verse says Valmiki Muni Simhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha. In the next verse, he is compared to a lion, Simha. So how is it possible that somebody could be compared to the softness of a cuckoo and yet the thunder of a lion? How is it possible? So it is to be understood in this way, that Valmiki Muni Simhasya, Valmiki Muni is like a lion, and Kavita Vanacharinaha, and he is roaming in the forest called Kavita or poetry. Valmiki Muni Simhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shrunvan Rama Katha Nadam Konu Yantim Param Gatim. He is roaring the glories of Sri Ram, hearing which, who is that person who will not get the highest destination? In this world, you can see by hearing the roaring of a lion, only fear gets induced. But by hearing the lion called Valmiki roar loudly the glories of Sri Ram, fear disappears. And love of God, it enters the heart. One becomes fearless. So how is it possible that you can compare someone to the softness of a cuckoo and the thunder of a lion? How is it possible? In Sanskrit, this is called as the Virodabhas Alankar, where opposite ideas are presented to actually heighten the poetic effect. So what does that mean? On one hand, his message is as clear and as loud as the roaring of the lion. The message of bhakti to Ram's lotus feet. Valmiki Ramayana is not ambiguous at all. Actually, Shastra is never ambiguous. The words of mundane materialists are very ambiguous because they themselves are confused. But it is described Vyamoha Prashamaushadam Munimano Vritti Pravrittaushadam Daityendrarthikaraushadam Tribhuvane Sanjeevanaikaushadam Bhaktatyanta Hitaushadam Bhavabhaya Pradvamshanaikaushadam Shreya Praptikaraushadam Pivamana Shri Krishna Divyaushadam. Kulashekar Alvar in the Mukundamala Stotra, he says that just by taking this medicine called as the name of Krishna, there are 7 benefits a living entity can get. 7 benefits just by chanting the name of Krishna, just by vibrating these 2 syllables Krishna, 7 benefits are there. What's the first benefit? Vyamoha Prashamaushadam. One will overcome all confusion. Vishesha Moha. One will win over all confusion and bewilderment. So next time we are confused about something, the American phrase is, let me sleep on it. Let me think about it, right? Which means let me sleep and think about it, and then I'll tell you tomorrow. But the scriptural phrase is, let me chant on it. I will chant and meditate and let you know. So if we chant few days and pray to Krishna, then Krishna will inspire what the right decision should be, and we will not be confused. So the first benefit of chanting the name of Krishna, Vyamoha Prashamaushadam, all confusion, all bewilderment is taken away. What are the remaining 6 effects? Muni Manovritti Pravrittaushadam. Our mentality, our tendency becomes like the great sages of the past, which means we will overcome our fallen condition, and our taste in bhakti will become like the great munis of the past. One will become very clear, one will become very focused, and renunciation and cleanliness and knowledge of the absolute truth, and at the same time desire to attain the Supreme Lord, detachment from material sense gratification, respect for everyone, humility, forgiveness, tolerance. All of this will automatically spring in the heart by chanting the name of Krishna. This is the second benefit. Third benefit, Daitendrarthikaroshadam. All enemies outside who are trying to make wicked, sinister plans against us will be destroyed on the power of chanting the holy name. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to try to outwit them. You don't have to do tit for tat. You just have to chant. Krishna will take care. And also another effect is the enemies in the heart, headed by lust, they are also conquered. Lust, anger, greed, they are also conquered. So the first benefit we mentioned by chanting Krishna's name is there is no confusion. One will have great clarity. You ask them any question, they are very clear. They'll never say, I think so, I feel, this is my opinion, I'm not sure. They will never say like that. Prabhupada was never confused. Acharyas are never confused. You ask them a question and it's clear. It's black and white for them. This is material life and this is spiritual life. This is Maya and this is Krishna Bhakti. It's clear. And this clarity comes not out of pride, but out of chanting the holy name. Krishna guides. This is the first effect. Second effect, all good qualities will come in the heart. Third effect, all anarthas and all enemies outside are conquered. Fourth, Sanjeevanai Kaushadam. It is like a new birth. One will start afresh and at the same time one will feel, oh, I have wasted so many years in my life. From now I will never waste time. That determination will come. Sanjeevanai Kaushadam. Fifth, Bhakta Atyanta Hita Ushadam. If we really want to do good to ourselves, the greatest good we can do to ourselves is chanting the name of Krishna, singing the glories of Krishna, singing the songs glorifying Krishna, reading about Krishna, telling people about Krishna. This is the best well-wishing activity we can do to others and to oneself. As Mahaprabhu says, Janma sarthaka kari karapara upakar. Do good to ourselves. Doctor, heal thyself first. But the process of bhakti is such that as we do good to others, we do good to oneself. So if we really want to be afloat, we have to practice bhakti and preach this message far and wide. This is the best well-wishing thing we can do to ourselves, to chant Krishna's name. Fifth. Now what is the sixth? Bhava bhaya pradvamshanai kaushadam. Even fear of death, even fear of old age is overcome. Because Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that, my Lord, every distress that I face on the path of bhakti gives greatest joy. It's like, for example, let's say, if someone is carrying 50 pounds on their shoulder, it's too much weight. But if you tell them that it's full of gold, and if you carry it from here to there, then that bag belongs to you. If you tell them that, then they will happily not just carry the weight, they will actually run towards the goal. That weight doesn't seem to be any weight anymore, because they know the closer they get to the goal, the happier they get with the prospect that all that gold actually will become theirs. So similarly, a devotee, every single day, he's running on the path of bhakti. Why? There's no fear, because he understands, for a materialist, when fear comes in, it's end of enjoyment. All our sources of joy are taken away. But for a devotee, when death strikes, one has darshan of Radha and Krishna. One goes to the eternal abode of the divine couple. So where is the fear? One actually becomes happy. Ayu harati vaipumsam udhyamastham chayannaso tasyarthe yat kshanonita uttama shloka vartaya. Every single day brings in the breeze of joy. Every sunrise and sunset only takes us one day closer to the divine couple, Radha Shyam Sundar. So this is the sixth benefit. One becomes free from all fear. And what is the seventh benefit? Bhava bhaya pradvamshanai kaushadam shreya prapti karoshadam. One will get love of Godhead. One will get the eternal service of Krishna. Therefore, O mind, shreya prapti karoshadam piba manaha. O mind, please drink Shri Krishna divya ushadam. This divine nectarian medicine, which is not bitter on the tongue or the heart. This medicine is very sweet on the tongue. Punyani namani pathanti nityam govinda damodara madhaveti. These transcendental names, which are Madhurani. Bilvamangal Thakur says they are Sumanoharani and Madhurani. They are nectar to the mind when the mind is pure, and they are nectar to the tongue also when we chant and glorify the Lord. So why are we speaking about the 7 benefits of the name of Krishna? Because the first benefit is it clears all confusion. Valmiki Muni himself before was Ratnakara. He was into all nefarious activities, confused in life. But by himself chanting the name not of Ram but the other way, Mara, because Ratnakar was constantly into killing animals and troubling others. So Rama, these 2 syllables couldn't appear on his tongue. When one is very sinful, one can't chant the holy name. One devotee was telling me that in his childhood he had a servant at home, and that servant broke all regulative principles, was into heavy meat eating. Actually, he was even into eating pork. This is back in India, and this is 30 years ago. So you can imagine, in the village, this person would eat all kinds of meat, and he was constantly intoxicating, and he had very loose character towards the Matajis, and he would lose money to gambling, whatever he had, and then he would lie and steal as well. So this devotee was telling me that we kept him at service because he had nobody, he had no family. So he was a nice person, but somehow in bad association he became a very wicked person. But he said that we still somehow kept him. And now he had some liver failure problem, and then he was dying. So this friend of mine, who's a devotee, he was telling me, I was holding his hand during his last days and telling him, chant the name of Krishna. Because this friend of mine was already a devotee back then. And the servant, who was a little older in age, much older in age, he was dying because of liver failure, because of excessive drinking. And this friend of mine was holding his hand and telling him at the time of departure, please chant Krishna's name. And that servant was blabbering everything else except the name of Krishna, even at the time of departure. So my friend was telling me, this devotee friend, that I saw practically that when one is sinful, the name of Krishna will not come on the tongue. You can hear about the name, you can read about the name, you can even try to chant, but somehow the name doesn't appear on the tongue. Put the hand in the bead bag, then few beads we are able to move by the power of the beads. But then as soon as you take the hand out of the bead bag, the name stops. Which means it's not the tongue which is chanting, it's the beads which are having the Shakti, which are helping us to chant. But as soon as the hand is taken out of the bead bag, the name stops on the tongue, Krishna's name. So Ratnakar, because of his past, he could not chant the name of Ram. He wouldn't be able to chant the name of Ram. But what was easy to chant was the other way, Mara, because he saw just Maranam, he just saw death everywhere. So Narad Muni said, you chant the holy name, even if it's the other way. Actually, Hari Bhakti Vilas describes that Shuddham va Ashuddham, even if one chants purely or impurely, and even if there's a vyavadhan, which means even if there's a obstacle between the syllables. Like for example, if someone says Raja and Mahishi, Raja means king and Mahishi means queen. But Sanatan Goswami in Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas gives this example to say that there is a vyavadhan, there are obstacles in the middle, like Raja, Mahishi, the first syllable is Ra, and the first syllable of the second word is also Ma. So Krishna puts them together and gives you the benefit of chanting Rama, although the intention was Raja and Mahishi. So there is a Ja in the middle, which is a vyavadhan. There is a syllable Ja of Raja, Ra, and Mahishi, Ma, but in the middle there's a syllable Ja. That's called a vyavadhan. That's an obstacle. But still the Lord is so kind. He takes the obstacle away and gives the benefit of chanting Rama. And another example given is Halam Riktam. Halam Riktam. So he takes the first syllable of Halam as Ha, and the first syllable of the second word as Ri, and gives the benefit of chanting Hari. Although there's a vyavadhan in the middle. Ha, Lam. This Lam syllable is an obstacle in the middle. Still the Lord, he takes the vyavadhana rahitam. He makes it without any speed breaker, without any obstacle, and gives the benefit of chanting Hari or Rama. So then what to speak when you chant the other way? Mara, 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 Mara. So the Lord just ignores the first Ma of the Mara, and then just it goes on as Rama, 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 Rama. And as we understand on the power of his chanting of the holy name, he became Vyamoha Prashamaushadam. All his past were overcome, and he became clear without any bewilderment of confusion. And then the whole world saw the great epic Ramayana manifest through Valmiki Muni. Actually, the word Valmiki, Valmik means anthill. And he who chanted the holy name with so much determination that anthill was formed on his body. And the ants started eating his flesh. He still didn't get to know. He was chanting completely with tears running down his eyes. So much affection just by chanting the holy name. Therefore, he could write the Ramayana, and the Ramayana is such that Valmiki Muni Simhasya. The message is like the roaring of the lion because of his purity on the basis of chanting the holy name. Chanting the holy name of Rama gave him so much purity that his message could be clear, like Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's messages are clear. There's no ambiguity. Yet at the same time, Prabhupada's heart is very soft. It's not, his message is very clear, but it's not that he's hard-hearted. He's very soft. So similarly, Valmiki Muni's message is like that of a lion. Very clear. There's no confusion. Yet at the same time, the way he has presented that is as sweet as the cooing of a cuckoo. So therefore, we can see the power of the chanting of the holy name of Ram. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. You can see Damshtri Damshtra Hatom Lecho Haram iti Puna Puna Uktvapi Muktimapnoti Kim Puna Shraddhaya Granan. This verse has been quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. He says that the name of Ram is so kind that Damshtri Damshtra Ahatom Lecho. Even if a Mlecha, hinting to a very famous story in the Puranas, where a Mlecha was passing stool and attending nature's call in the woods, in the forest, and there was a Damshtri, which means a wild pig, who wanted to attack the Mlecha for obvious reasons. As a result, now he started chasing the Mlecha, and the Mlecha now, he was running in fear of his life. Looking at the boar, the Damshtri, he started shouting, Haram, 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 which means abominable, abominable, abominable. Oh, you pig, get lost, don't chase me. He was trying to chastise. But by then what happened? Damshtra ahata. He got attacked by the tusk of the Damshtri. So Damshtri, Damshtra hatom Mlecho. The Mlecha who was attacked by the tusk of the wild boar who has the wild teeth. Haram iti puna punaha. He said haram again and again, but uktvapi muktim apnoti. But when he died by the attack, by the injuries of this wild boar, he also got liberated. Why? Because the Lord heard it as not haram, but haram, haram, haram. Oh my Lord Ram, oh my Lord Ram. Now in English, when you say ha ha, that is laughter. But in Sanskrit, it is the exact opposite. It is grief. It is calling out ha ha with so much heartfelt, desperate, helpless call. So the Lord didn't take it as haram, but he took it as haram. So our Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur says, Uktvapi muktim apnoti kim punaha shraddhaya granan. If by just saying haram, or by the example that we previously said, Raja Mahishi, or by the example of Valmiki Muni, Mara, if one can get mukti, then what to be said of by Shraddhaya Granan? If somebody chants with complete faith, with a lot of affection, then Kim Puna Shraddhaya Granan, what to be said about such chanting? One will definitely attain Paramam Gatim. One will attain the highest destination of love of God just by chanting the name properly. Even if improper. Actually, there's another text where another Rama Bhakta, very exalted Acharya, he says that even if you chant without emotions, even if you chant with anger, even if you chant out of laziness, just the name of Ram is so pure, by chanting, all 10 directions get purified. All 10 directions. he mentions that Lord Shiva was able to even hold poison in his throat on the power of chanting Ram Nam on the tongue. Because he was constantly chanting the name of Ram, he could hold even poison on the throat. So we don't have to get poisoned by the effect of this world, by the churning of this world, let's say. We will be able to have the power to digest any poisonous situation by the chanting of the name of Sri Ram. Also, the Acharya mentions that Ra and Ma, these two syllables are like our parents. They are like our parents. Just like when the child holds the hands of the parents, he can very easily cross the street and he doesn't have to worry about any accident. So similarly, any devotee who holds on to these two syllables, which are like one's mother and father, they can very easily cross the ocean of birth and death. That's the effect of chanting these two syllables. Also, it is mentioned, when we show affection for our parents in this world, our moha increases, our illusion increases. When our parents, we go and embrace our parents, because of the embrace, because of the emotions, our moha, our illusion increases. But when we embrace these two syllables, our moha gets destroyed. So therefore we can say that these two syllables, Ra and Ma, they are more merciful, they are more compassionate, more loving, more affectionate than any parent that we have ever had in any life. Also, one more thing has been mentioned, that these two syllables, Ra and Ma, they are like Krishna and Balaram. Why? Just like Krishna and Balaram, they are constantly jumping on the lap of Mother Yashoda. The tongue of the devotee becomes the lap of Mother Yashoda, where these two syllables dance as Krishna and Balaram. So in this way, so much can be said about these two syllables of Sri Ram Nam. And the more we say, the more we can say. There is so much to be said. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he many times chanted Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam. But he would sing Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Rakshama. He would chant the names of Ramachandra also. Also, it is described that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went down south and he saw very beautiful deities of Sri Ramachandra. He chanted Govinda Keshava Janardhana Vasudeva Vishvesha Vishva Madhusudana Vishwarupa Sri Padmanabha Purushottama Pushkaraksha Narayanachuta Nrisimho Namo Namaste. Why would he chant this? Because it is described Sri Ramachandra, when he saw temples of Vishnu, he would chant this verse given in the Puranas. So remembering that mood of Sri Ramachandra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself chanted these beautiful names. Sri Ramachandra's names are so purifying, so benevolent, that when Murari Gupta chanted them in the mood of Hanuman, in the Mahaprakash Leela also, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showered supreme mercy on him by giving him darshan of the form of Sri Ram. Even in the six-handed form, the Shadbhuj Gauranga Roop to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we can see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed two hands with bow and arrow representing Sri Ramachandra. So many things can be said. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to South India, he saw this Brahmana who would not eat. Why? Actually, this Brahmana had invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for prasadam at home. And Mahaprabhu came and it was 1.5 days and still he was not fed anything. So Mahaprabhu said, so any plans for prasadam? And this devotee was such a great Rama Bhakta. He told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that yes, very soon Lakshman is coming from the forest. He will collect some some roots and some vegetables. Then Mother Sita will cook and she will offer it to Ram. Then I will give you the remnants. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely flabbergasted, looking at the mood of this Brahmana, who, although in Kali Yuga, this pastime, we could say Ramachandra's pastimes occurred millions and millions of years ago. Still, this devotee was dipped in the mode of bhakti to Sri Ramachandra in the present. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was amazed by his spontaneous and relatable devotion in the present generation. Also, another example we can see is the brother of Rupa and Sanatan, that is Anupam or Sri Vallabha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really appreciated Anupam for his dedication to the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra. How? It was Rupa and Sanatan as the brothers of Anupam who told the younger brother that, why don't you worship Krishna? Why do you worship Ramachandra? Instead you worship Krishna. So next day Anupam came to them and said, please give me permission to give up my body. So Rupa and Sanatan said, why would you ask such a benediction? So Anupam said that not being able to follow the instruction of one's superior, older brother or spiritual master is worse than death. For me to accept the lotus feet of Krishna in my heart, first I have to let go of the feet of Sri Ram, and that I am not able to. Neither am I able to give up the lotus feet of Ram, nor am I able to accept the lotus feet of Krishna and follow your instruction. My life is getting worthless, let me die. So Rupa and Sanatan embraced their brother. Sadhu, sadhu, very good, you're such a great soul. And after he departed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, this nishtha at the lotus feet of Ramachandra, this fixity, determined steadfastness, perseverance at the lotus feet of Sri Ram is certainly praiseworthy. So in this way we can see there is constant presence of Ramachandra's name and Ramachandra's Leelas, even in Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Leelas. So much so that it is described that even Sri Krishna, while he was ruling Dwaraka, he would listen to the Ramayana. He would listen to the Puranas and he would listen to the pastimes of Ramachandra. Tasyanu charitam rajan rishibhi tattvadarshibhi shrutam hi varnitam bhuri tvaya sita pate muho. What is 24,000 verses over so many sargas, and from Bal Kand, Ayodhya Kand, Aranya Kand, Kishkinda Kand, Sundar Kand, Yuddha Kand, and even Uttar Kand or Lanka Kand, as mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana, you can see that there are so many verses, thousands and thousands, 24,000 verses describing Ram. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 9th canto, you can see only 2 chapters, 10 and 11, describing Maryada Purushottam Sri Ramachandra. Why? And the reason for that is Shukdev Goswami says, Tasya anucharitam rajan rishibhi tattvadarshibhi shrutam hi varnitam bhuri tvaya sitapate muhu. Oh Parikshit, right from your childhood I know for sure, because everyone here in the generation, and I'm pretty sure you too, O Maharaj Parikshit, you have profusely heard Sita Pate Charitam, the pastimes of Sri Ram, the husband of Mother Sita. Tasya Anucharitam Rajan, O king, his pastimes. Whose pastimes? Sita Pate, the husband of Mother Sita. Rishibihi Tattvadarshibhihi, the rishis have spoken, the tattvadarshis have spoken, and Tvaya Shrutam Bhuri, and you have heard profusely. I have heard, everyone has heard, even Shri Krishna in Dwaraka has heard. Everyone has heard Ram Katha. It is described that Charitam Raghunathasya Shata Koti Pravistaram Eka Aksharam Pumsam Mahapatakanasha. That Charitam Raghunathasya, the pastimes of Sri Ramachandra, Charitam Raghunathasya Shata Koti Pravistaram. It is divided over Shata Koti, 100 crore verses. 100 crore verses. To which one very great soul, he writes that the 100 crore verses were given to Lord Shiva. And he thought, what will I do with these 100 crore verses? So I will give 33 crore in the upper planetary system, 33 crore to the middle planetary system, and 33 crore verses to the lower planetary system. And he divided, and he finally had 1 crore verses. Mother Parvati said, now you please keep this for yourself. He said, sure. And then he divided that to 33 lakh in the upper planetary system, 33 lakh in the middle, and 33 lakh in the lower. He was left with 1 lakh verses. Again, he divided that in 33,000 upper, 33,000 middle, and 33,000 lower, left with 1,000 verses. And again, he divided that with 333 verses on the upper, 333 in the middle, and 333 in the lower. He was left with 1 verse in Anushtup Chanda, which has 32 syllables. So he divided 10 in the upper planetary systems, 10 in the middle, and 10 in the lower, Mother Parvati said, you had 100 crore verses, you gave away everything. And Lord Shiva said, at the end, I still have the essence, the 2 syllables of Ra and Ma. He says, if these 2 syllables are vibrated, the 100 crore verses will manifest in the heart. This is how much our acharyas have glorified Sri Ramachandra and the name of Sri Ram, the pastimes of Sri Ram. It's unlimited, actually. It's unlimited. Another acharya writes that the name of Sri Ram, these 2 syllables of Ram Nam, they are like Nrsingadev. Now this is quite an interesting analysis. It says the name of Sri Ram, consisting of 2 syllables, is like Nrsingadev. Acha. Then who is Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu is the age of Kali Yuga, which means these 2 syllables in the mood of Nrsingadev are ever ready and ever potent to destroy the Hiranyakashipu called Kali Yuga. The effect of Kali Yuga will be destroyed by chanting. Then the question is, who's Prahlad? Protected by these 2 syllables? The chanter of these 2 syllables is Prahlad. The one who's chanting these 2 syllables is Prahlad. The name is Nrsinga, and Kali Yuga is Hiranyakashipu. So if someone is attacked by Hiranyakashipu, the Kali effect, and wants the effect to reduce and wants one to be protected by the Lord, then one has to take shelter of the Nrsinga-like name of Sri Ram. Very beautiful and very poetic. Also, it is described that in Sanskrit Vyakarana, in the A, E, U, Devanagari script, in which Sanskrit, Hindi, Marathi is all written, you can see that there is a line. You write a word and then you put a line on top. So it is described that this line is actually the line of death. And all syllables, like all of us, all living beings, they're all hanging under this line of death. But in Sanskrit Vyakaran, there are only 2 syllables which are written above the line. Like, for example, if I have to say the word Varna, the V, and then there is a Rafar on the top. The R goes above the line. Varna, right? Na is under, V is under, but above the Na, there is a R. Also, let's say another syllable, when I have to say Aham, I say A, Ha, and I put a Anuswara, also called as a Vishnu Chakram by Jiva Goswami, above the line. That is Aham. So it is described that all syllables hang under the line of death, but there are only 2 syllables which are beyond, that is Ra and Ma. And by taking shelter of these 2 syllables, Ra, Ma, one can actually cross the line of repeated birth and death and get liberated oneself. Another perspective is, these 2 syllables that we mentioned which are beyond the line, they represent an umbrella and they represent a crown. What does that mean? A king who rules over the whole world has everyone at his feet, but there are only 2 things above his head. One is a crown and one is an umbrella. The rest, everything is under his feet. So this means that if you take shelter of the crown and umbrella like Ra and Ma, then in the Lord's eyes you will be treated like a king. So much is said about these 2 syllables. Brahmam bodhi samudbhavam kalimalam pradvamsanam chavyayam Shrimat Shambhu Mukhendu Sundaravare Samshobitam Sarvada Samsaramaya Bheshajam Sukhakaram Shri Janaki Jivanam Dhanyaste Kritino Pibanti Satatam Shri Ramanamamritam. It is mentioned in the Ramayana that when the milk ocean was churned, nectar came. But what kind of nectar is that? It only sustains our life little more longer than needed. That's all. But Kshine Punya Martyalokam Vishanti. That effect of nectar will end. And when all pious credits are finished, all the demigods will have to come back to earth. Kshine Punya Martyalokam Vishanti, according to Gita. So churning of the milk ocean took place to get the nectar, and that nectar only extends the life by a little. What's the effect? But on the other hand, it is described that Brahmam Bodhi Samudbhavam, when the ocean of Shastras are churned, the nectar that comes out are these 2 syllables, Ra and Ma. And that is Amrit to such an extent, Amrita. It makes one come to a state where there is no more death. Eternal kingdom. So Brahmam Bodhi Samudbhavam, when the ocean of Shastra is churned, this nectar comes out. Mohini Murti herself is coming out as nectar in the form of these two syllables. Kali Malam Pradvamsanam. And this nectar has the power to destroy the effect of Kali. We don't have to complain. This is my problem. I'm struggling with anarthas. I'm struggling with aparad. I'm struggling with pap. I'm struggling with so many family issues and physical issues and financial issues and social issues. I have so many problems. No worry. My Guru Maharaj would say, Jeevan hamara bigda hai, rakshak hamara tagda hai. Our life would be, messy, no problem. But our protector is way more bigger than all our problems. So don't go and tell Krishna how big your problems are. Go and tell your problems how big your Lord is. So if one constantly chants the name of Sri Ram on the tongue, Kalimala Pradvamshanam, all ill effects of Kali are definitely destroyed. And Cha Avyayam, it is eternal. If you chant 99 times this life, next life you start from 100. Everything material ends, goes to dust, goes to ashes. But the chanting of the holy name of Sri Ram, if you chant 99 times this life, next life we start from 100. Avyayam. And Shriman Shambhu Mukhendu Sundaravare Samshobhitam Sarvada, Lord Shiva himself holds this Amrit on his tongue. When that milk ocean was churned, Lord Shiva drank poison. But when this Shastra ocean is churned, he is drinking the nectar of Ram Nam. Samsara Amaya Bheshajam. Samsara Amaya Bheshajam. It is that medicine which destroys Bhavarog, the disease of repeated birth and death. And Sukhakaram. It is a medicine which is not bitter on the tongue. It is very tasty on the tongue and tasty in the heart. And Shri Janaki Jivanam. This was the life of Mother Janaki while she was in Lanka. It is this name of Ram which pulled Ram to Sita in Lanka. So our situation is like that. Vedanta Desikar in the Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, he writes that our situation is like Mother Sita. We are stuck in the Ashok Vatika of the Lanka of this body, ruled by Ravana, who is Maya Shakti. And we are separated from our Lord. And we are across the ocean of birth and death. So what should we do? We should remember the Lord and chant the holy name of the Lord like Mother Sita did. What will happen? The Lord will make a bridge of stones and personally come. He will set fire to the plans of Ravana and rescue the Sita, that is the soul stuck in the material world of Lanka, across the ocean of birth and death, and take us back to eternal abode, that is Ayodhya, just like how Ram took Mother Sita. So she constantly remembered the Lord and chanted his names. You can see, Yatra Gayanti Madbhaktaha Tatra Tishtami Narada. Naham Vasami Vaikunthe Yoginam Hridayeshu Va Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta Tatra Tishtami Narada. Wherever my devotees chant my names, the Lord is telling Narada Muni, I appear there. I appear there. This is confirmed even by Nilkantha Goswami in the Kevalashtakam. He says, Hari Sada Vaset Tatra Yatra Bhagavata Jana Gayanti Bhakti Bhavena Harer Namaiva Kevalam. Where the name of Sri Hari or the name of Krishna, Ramachandra is chanted, Hari Sada Vaset Tatra. He lives there eternally, where devotees with devotion chant the names and call out to him. You can see when the son grows up, the mother doesn't pay much attention. But when he's helpless, as a little kid and always calling out, Mommy, Mommy, and holding on to her sari, the mother cannot do anything. Her mind always goes to the child who's calling her. But the child, once he grows up, he doesn't call out to the mother. He's pretty independent, so mother doesn't pay attention enough. So those who are Gyanis and Karmis, they are like the older son. They are independent. They don't call out to the Lord. But the devotees are like the child. Not childish, but childlike. Always calling out to the mother. Calling out to the name of the Lord. And therefore the Lord, like the mother in this world, is constantly looking at that child who's calling out to him. It's a very, very important point to remember. Also, we can understand in the Damodar Leela, Yani Yani iha Gitani tadbal charitani cha dadhi nirmantane kale smaranti tanya gayata. Mother Yashoda was remembering Krishna as she was churning early in the morning. She was churning the yogurt, and she was remembering and chanting his names, singing songs. What happened? Krishna left his sleep and he came there. To prove this point that where my pure devotees chant my names, I appear there. Vibhishan was the only person chanting the name of Ram in the whole of Lanka, apart from Mother Sita, who of course came there for a year, but Vibhishan has been chanting the name of Ram throughout, all by himself. And Sri Ram went there. Sri Ram went there for Vibhishan. He went there for Mother Sita, those who are chanting the holy name. On the other hand, in Ayodhya, you can see Manthara, who was taking people away from Sri Ram. And Ram went away from her. So you can be in the Ayodhya of devotee association and be like Manthara, not chanting the holy name, and the Lord will prefer to go to the forest but go away from us. On the other hand, we can live in the Lanka of bad association and still be like Vibhishan or Mother Sita chanting the name of Ram, and the Lord, even if it means making a bridge of floating stones and rocks, and even if it means walking with many thousands of monkeys, the Lord will come there only for us. This is the power of chanting the holy name of Ram. Wherever Ram Nam has been chanted, the Lord has appeared to that devotee and showered supreme mercy. Sri Janaki Jivanam. Therefore, this is the life of Mother Janaki. Dhanyaste kritino pibanti satatam Shri Rama Namamritam. All glories are those tongues which are chanting and tasting the nectar of the holy name of Sri Ram. Kalyananam nidhanam kalimala mathanam pavanam pavananam. Hanumanji has chanted this verse saying, Kalyananam nidhanam. The holy name of Ram can bring auspiciousness in the life of all those who are already auspicious. Which means those who are doing deity worship, those who are reading Shastra, those who are hearing Hari Katha, they are already auspicious. Their life is blessed. But even in their life, when they chant the name of Ram, they make more advancement. So the name of Ram can bring auspiciousness in the life of those who are already auspicious. So in this way, this Ram Navami, let us not just think that it is a tithi where Ram appears. Let us make Ram appear in the Ayodhya of our heart on the power of our chanting, helpless chanting, call, depending, helpless chanting, childlike chanting of the holy name of Sri Ram. And of course, the name of Sri Ram is there in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Srila Prabhupada was asked, which Ram is this referring to? Srila Prabhupada said it can refer to Balaram, it can refer to Parshuram, it can also refer to Ayodhyapati, Dasharat Nandan Sri Ram. But however, the highest understanding is this Ram refers to Krishna, who is Radha Ramana, who is the beloved of Radharani. And for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, you can remember this verse, Rakara Shrimati Radha, Makara Madhusudano, Dvayo Vigraha Samyogat, Rama Nama Iti Khila. The deepest understanding of the word Rama, in line with the worshippers of Radha and Krishna, Ra refers to Radha and Ma refers to Madhusudana. And Radha and Krishna, when they come together, this is called Rama Leela. So in this conception, we can chant Hare Krishna and chant Ram Nam and still remember Radha and Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your wonderful nectar, Amarendra Prabhu. Thank you. Any questions you can take?
Sure, we have a few minutes.
Amritana Prabhu has already question. Okay, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Amarendra Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance, all grace to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. My question is related to the power of the holy name, as you explained. There's no consideration of offenses. So this can become like an escape clause for a conditioned mind when you're doing japa. That fine doesn't matter. However I'm doing it, benefit is still there. So there's no incentive or motivation, so to say, to chant properly. So what do you suggest? How do you avoid such a mentality?
Well, Bhavagrahi Janardhana, Krishna knows our heart, and Krishna can hear our sentiments and intentions louder than he can hear our words. When he's hearing our japa, he's hearing our words. At the same time, much louder than that, he's hearing our intention. So if our intention is, oh, it doesn't matter, I can do whatever I want, then all that we will get with that is maybe freedom from sins. That's all. We won't even get liberated with that mentality. We may atone, that could be taken as an atonement for the past sins that we have committed. But then because that mentality is still there, we will commit more sins again. And again, we'll continue to chant, and that we'll eradicate that. And this process continues without any goal. But when we chant without offenses, little seriously, that is when it is described that we will get liberated from repeated birth and death. But only when we chant to call out to the Lord, and we cry tears of separation, my Lord, I am separated from you in this world. I want you and I don't want anything else. When we call out in this mood, only then Shuddha Bhakti or Prema Bhakti, that is love for the service of the Lord, will appear in the heart. Till then, we can try to cheat and manipulate, but we are not going to get any result. When we say that, yes, even with, Khaite shuite jatha tatha namlo, when we say that, yes, there's no consideration of offenses, that means that even that chanting will have effect, but not the highest effect. So this is the understanding.
Prabhu, if I may follow up, please. So if we do nicely explain, so it's something like an atonement, but you are caught in the cycle of sin cleaning. So after the soul leaves the body, does it have any effect or credit, as it was mentioned, that you continue from 99 to 100 and you move on? Does that happen even in offensive
100%. 100%. Every name that is chanted, even with offenses, even without any attention, it is still counted. It is still counted. It is because Krishna sees, at least you uttered his name. You could have said something else, but you still uttered his name, even if it is inattentively, even if it is in complete neglect, let's say. Krishna's trying harder to get us to the spiritual world than we are trying ourselves. So there's still effect. And the more we chant, sincerely, qualitatively and quantitatively, we will make advancement and progress towards his lotus feet.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Krishna.
Jagadisham Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanavad Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhu, like you mentioned in the class, like the fearless, right? The stage comes in the bhakti, you become the fearless. And I'm recalling that the incident, just Maharaj Kadamkanand Maharaj left the body, and he boldly saying that I have no fear.
Yes.
So to get that stage, like being a devotee, do we have a self-check how behind we are that stage, or how to attain that stage? You also become a fearless.
Absolutely, it's a journey. By Krishna's mercy, when we understand that death will occur anyway, whether we fear, whether we think, whether we analyze, whether we get anxious about it, doesn't matter. Death is going to occur. Let's say if by our fear or by our anxiety we could overcome death, then it's wonderful. Let's get afraid and let's get more anxious. But it is going to happen. For somebody it is going to be a heart attack, for somebody it's going to be an accident, for somebody it's going to be, so many ways to leave one's body. It's going to happen. So why should we worry about it? We should worry about our duty. Moment to moment, I should not forget the Supreme Lord. Moment to moment, I should chant his holy names. I should not break any scriptural principle. I should be in good association. I should not eat something that is against scriptural injunction apart from prasadam. Fourth, I should constantly chant and remember the Lord's name and not worry about things that are anyway going to happen. The joy of meeting the Lord after death is way higher than the anxiety of what is going to happen to me. Let's say when someone is changing one's job, when you already get a job and then you have to quit the present one, there is no anxiety. There is no anxiety because you know you're going to a better job with higher pay. But imagine if you have to forcibly quit. We are fired in the present job and we don't have another job. Now there is anxiety. What is going to happen to me? So devotees, they already have the next job, especially those who are really advanced devotees, those who are fixed devotees, those who are well situated advanced devotees. Not everyone, but those who are advanced and fixed up. They already have a job. They have Krishna's lotus feet. They have a relocated place to Krishna's abode. And then they are giving up the present job. Then where is the fear? They are going to a better destination with better people, with better pay. The pay is his presence. Krishna's presence, eternal presence, the lotus feet of Radha Shyam Sundar, whom we have been worshipping all our life, whose names we have been chanted, about whom we have just been reading and hearing. Now we will serve them eternally. We can talk to them. This is the eternal pay. When there is better destination, there is better incentive, the pay is much higher. Where is the fear of quitting the present job? But most of us don't have that. Therefore, there is anxiety. Ab mera kya hoga? After death happens, death occurs, where will I go and in what circumstance? This is what causes the anxiety.
Thank you so much. Very nicely you give the explanation, Prabhu. Because the video, when we see the Maharaj, we bring in one point, I have no fear, I know where I'm going.
Yes.
And the big celebration is waiting over there, never heard, never seen.
Yes. It's a
That
very
is a statement, comes mind again and again. See the faith and the fearless situation. And he was smiling, he took the pose when he was saying and smiling, even having so much pain, but he could see the higher situation.
Yeah, not just see, experience and realize it. Yes, absolutely. Very advanced soul. Very
never
advanced.
heard, never seen. This wording keep on coming in my mind, how he was confidently saying that. And giving us faith, we are right direction. Just keep on doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Such an advanced soul that even Srila Jayadvaita Maharaj, who's His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Maharaj's beloved spiritual master, was breaking down, weeping, remembering Kadamba Kanana Maharaj's dedication to chanting 16 rounds, even in the last days. Even in the last days. Srila Jayadvaita Maharaj was saying, because of pain in the body, if you're not able to chant Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, you can just chant one round, one bead, and I will take it as one round. 16 beads, that's all. And Kadamba Kanana Maharaj was saying, Maharaj, please don't give me that order. Let me chant my 16 rounds. Sometimes it would take 10, 12, even 24 hours, all day to chant 16 rounds. But even in those last days, battling cancer, he's chanting, departing in Vrindavan in the association of so many devotees. So our beloved Madhupati Prabhu is the god brother of Kadamba Kanana Maharaj, with the same spiritual master, Srila Jayadvaita Maharaj. So Jagdish Simha Prabhu, you can associate with Kadamba Kanana Maharaj and Srila Jayadvaita Maharaj by being with His Grace Madhupati Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. We are so fortunate to, working under his supervision.
Yes. Hare Krishna. All right. It's past 9 o'clock now. So, Krishna Namananda Prabhu, back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amarendra Prabhu. Hopefully, give us later in this year. Please come and visit us.
Yes, yes, definitely. I'm so happy to see Madhupati Prabhu on the screen.
Call me, so I have to. Yeah. Thank you very much, Amarendra Prabhu. Seeing you after a long time. We are looking forward for your personal association. COVID is gone.
Yes.
Forgotten. Please come down.
Absolutely. I will definitely come. Maybe summertime.
Yeah, so let's fix up.
Sure. Sure.
Summertime will pass by otherwise. So
absolutely.
Let's fix up something. Krishna,
sure.
Fix up something.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare
That's the announcement. The Sunday feast is on, and Ram Navami is coming up on 30th. Abhishek, Kirtan, Katha, and Ram Navami Day. Please join us. You can bring various items. Who can bring for the pleasure of the Prabhupada and the Ramakuna Bhagavat. You can also various services.
Somehow the voice is not very clear, Krishna Amarendra Prabhu.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, there was some jarring.
Okay. Yeah. March 30th, Ram Navami, fasting till sunset. Please join us for the Ram Navami celebration. You can bring various items for Sri Prabhupada and Lord Ramchandra's pleasure. You can donate. We have various ways to donate. Abhishek, Arati, flowers, and various ways you can engage in yourself in the service of the Lord. And Govindas is on govindasng.com. You can place your order for Govindas. Next upcoming festival is April 21st, Saturday is Akshaya Tritiya. And May 4th, Thursday is, I think, Narsingha Chaturdasi. Those are the upcoming big festivals. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. Let us offer our obeisances to all the devotees assembled on this forum and all of the Gaur Bhaktagan. Vancha kalpatarubhasya.
Jai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amarendra.
Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna.